the firefighters union, they came out with the wellness and fitness initiative. So they are required by their union contract to work out for an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Or to have an hour and a half on duty to work out.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the personal training thing, and I like doing that. You know, it applies across the board.
Right.
The concept, physiology is physiology, but I want to, for whatever reason, I just have a heart for the fire departments. I don't know why.
Yeah.
There's no like big, like, oh, I had this thing. It's just, I really have this, a heart for fire departments. I think part of it, there's part of me that's like, they're so underappreciated. And I think,
dude, they're the first people to the scene, like every time they beat the cops
for
there.
Everything,
they beat, like,
no
dude,
matter what it is.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, I've talked to some where they've like delivered babies. They have, I mean, like they've done everything.
Yeah, and because they have all those certifications, right? They're not just firefighters. Like majority of them are EMTs.
Exactly.
I mean, they have all these, above and beyond things that they do. And there's a big mental health problem going on in the fire departments, I think, and it's not being addressed.
Sure. Well, they definitely don't get paid as like they should. Seriously, for everything they do,
and they don't get appreciated.
Yeah.
That's been my big thing is not even going to the fire departments to say, hey, I'm going to show you how to work out and get you guys a program. It's like, you're working out and it's working for you. We can fine tune it. I'm not going to go in there and rewrite the book on that.
Right.
But what I want to do is get in there to help with their wellness. To let's look at sleep strategies. Let's look at nutrition. Let's just look at your lifestyle.
And that's really awesome because that's how you're going to give back to people.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. So I had initially, so I started studying for my CSCS, and I was just like overwhelmed by this because I do not have an exercise science background. So the science portion of it was like, oh my goodness, this is. My physical therapist is a CSCS, so he kind of pushed me that way, and been really awesome with it. And then I found the TSAC thing, and I was like, at first you see the TSAC, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go work with military and go do the, you have like these big but what I found when I actually started thinking about it was that idea wasn't about me giving back. It was about I'm going to go do this. I'm going to be somebody doing this. Yeah. And, it was kind of, once I got certified and I started I was working at the gym. My first clients were old people.
Yeah.
Like
me too.
70, 80 years old. And their bodies are trash.
Yeah, man.
And when I worked with a 70-year-old guy, and at the end of the first hour, he was like, he noticed a difference.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And it's like, for me, it's like something just clicked. I worked with a guy who is 70-some years old. He was like a former detective. So he had this big police background. He used to, it's kind of the same story of, I was in the military and I did these things, and now I'm a shadow of my former self. And this, he's walking around on a walker, and we sat in the office just talking about that.
Yeah. And
just him having somebody that is like, this guy knows exactly what I'm going. Like that changed him, and those kind of things. That was really my turning point. That I kind of even went into getting a certification with an ego, and then it all got turned around.
Yeah, dude, the same thing happened to me. Same thing, man. I thought I was going to work with athletes, and that's it. I'm like, I'm going to work my way up to, I'll start with high school, and then I'll go to college, and then I'll be working with professional athletes. And dude, the first people you get are old people that are broken, and it turns into therapy sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, psychology. I'm like, you guys should be paying me like psychology hours right now. but it really does, and you find your calling, man. Like, dude, I'm right with you. You find it, and when those people thank you, and you see the turnaround, you see the change in them, both physically and mentally, dude, it's a huge thing. And I mean, that's why I do what I do. It seems like you found your calling, man. That's great.
Yeah, and it's I really enjoy it. It's funny because my wife will be like, "What do you?" I'm like always on my laptop. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, oh, "I'm reading this study right now," and I'm like geeking out on PubMed, reading. Like I read. I told her like I read like 2 studies a day. It's just like because you learn
awesome.
so much about things.
Yeah.
And you asked about people that inspire me. There's people that have pushed me kind of in that direction, not like directly, but just people that I follow. There's on Instagram, Annette Zapp. She has this business that's Fire SQ Fitness. And she does a lot of the wellness stuff. She's a firefighter as well.
Cool.
But she's a CSCS and TSAC as well. And she just has a lot of good stuff. Really has a heart for the community. And one of the other people that kind of really influenced me a lot was Matt Wenning. He's a power lifter, former power lifter. But I remember when I was studying for the CSCS and the TSAC, and I'd be on YouTube, I'd just be like, oh, I wonder if I just search for NSCA, what's on here. And one of the first things I found was it was from one of the conferences and Matt Wenning doing something on the sumo squat or on the sumo deadlift. And that's what got me into deadlifting, was watching that and then following his content, the stuff that he puts out. I mean, he has a Patreon channel, but he puts out so much free stuff. And it's awesome because he's like a 3-time world record holder, but he has a master's of science in exercise science. So he's like a smart meathead.
That's awesome.
And it's I think it's awesome to really see that we're starting to really see that in fitness, where you have these guys that are meatheads, but they're like you have like Mike Isfertel from Renaissance Periodization, those kind of guys that it's not just some schmuck out there that's pushing bro science. It's these guys are they know what they're talking about. They walk the walk and talk the talk.
For sure. Those are the people I like, man. That's great.
Yeah. So where can people follow you at? What's your Instagram, Facebook? Do you have any groups or?
My Instagram is MD Möyer 2, just my initials and last name. I have another Instagram. It's Force Multiplication LLC. That's I just started that in February, and then COVID hit. So it's like, hey, I started a business and I do nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
But I had started that. It's actually kind of worked out well. I had started that because I got certified through the Red Cross to teach first aid, CPR, and AED. And to do that to the general public, you need an LLC or to teach under another provider. So I'm like, I'll just start an LLC.
Yeah, there you go.
It's kind of, I have like no business experience. I'm just like throwing stuff at the wall. Be like, oh, I got to do this now. How do I do that? Okay, let's go do that. So I did that, and then I'm kind of, so I have the first aid, CPR, AED piece underneath that LLC. But then it was like, okay, well, if I'm going to be going to fire departments, now I have an LLC to go out and do that instead of just like, hey,
that makes you look
here to do this.
That makes you look more legit.
Yeah, it's a bit more professional to have a company. So I haven't, during COVID, I was posting stuff on the Force Multiplication Instagram, but everything I post on there, I end up posting on my regular Instagram anyway. I have a Facebook, but I don't. That's more for keeping in touch with people. I don't really post big stuff on there. I just kind of post funny stuff and shit post on there a lot. So that's my little outlet to go stir the pot. But I've been kind of getting away from Facebook, especially in the recent weeks. I've been, with everything going on. Yeah, I've found, Facebook has that snooze for 30 days feature. And I've been using that a lot. Like, just turn that off. My wife, she's like, what would happen if you just didn't do social media for 30 days? I'm like, well, I need it. I need it.
I'm gonna call bullshit on your introvert.
Yeah, I think you're
I think you're an extrovert.
So you're not the first person. I'm one of those. I'm kind of an either or, I guess.
Yeah.
If I'm around the right people, I'll come out. In small groups, I can be an extrovert. If you put me in a crowd, I'm going to go sit in the corner.
That's funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like the other way around, man. I don't know what it is. When there's a large crowd, it's like I want to be the center of attention. I've just been like that since I was a kid, though. Everybody used to always call me the show off. I'm like, hey, I would do this if no one was around. I'd still be jumping off the walls and backflipping. I mean, it's just what I do. But, dude, it's been really awesome having you on our podcast today.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate you guys having me on. You know, it's awesome to, you know, the focus that you guys take. You know, there's like a million and one podcasts out there now. Sure. And it's always awesome to kind of see a different spin, so to speak, on like what's, you know, because there's you know, especially being a military guy, there's like 9 million military podcasts, and like, oh, so tell me what happened, you know, when you were, you know, rocking them. It's like, okay, you know, it's like you can go find a million stories out there.
We're more interested in getting like the trauma that the person's went through and how they've
overcame it.
How they.
Yeah, and you know, listening back to previous podcasts that you guys have done, you know, Seth Howland was a great podcast.
Yeah, he was awesome.
You know, we follow each other on it. We've been following each other on Instagram for a while because, you know, we're both former Marines. So I don't even remember how we got linked up, but
he's awesome.
You guys had. I don't know. I just really like the direction that you guys take. It's not a path that's being tread, and I think it's important. For other people that are out there, it's easy when you're going through trauma. It's so easy to be like, I'm the only one.
Yep.
You know, it's easy to cocoon and just feel lost and alone. So to have this content out there where people can listen to it, that it's like, man, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. You know, it's not who's the most jacked up person out there. You know, because you have that side where people are falling into this like, well, my life is more jacked up than yours, whatever. It's you know, that does a disservice too. You know,
it's not a pride thing.
I'm never a fan of, you know, well, somebody has it worse than you. It's like, you know, well, you're kind of.
Well, guess what? Somebody always has it worse than you. Just like there's always a bigger dude. There's always somebody stronger, faster, smarter, better looking. I mean, like,
it delegitimizes that person's suffering too.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody has to fight their demons.
Yeah, and it's. I also think about. I think it was George Carlin said one time. He's like, you know, you always say there's somebody with worse off than you. He's like, but that also means that there's somebody out there that has it the worst out of anybody,
which sucks. Yeah.
But
well, dude, that's awesome. You've summed it up really good today.
Oh yeah,
and helping us out too with you know, kind of promoting that. So all those out there, I would like to inspire you guys to watch our podcast. If you like this, go ahead and like it, share it, subscribe to our IronWill podcast, and we'll have more awesome people like Matthew here.
I think the most important thing is sharing it, just getting it into other people's thoughts.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, man. It's been awesome having you.
Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate it again.
Okay. We're over and out.